Hi everyone, this is Ellen Marie Francisco. Thanks for coming into my channel today. If you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. And if you're new to my channel, stick around. We're going to talk today about recognizing your own authentic self. The energies that we're dealing with right now have to do with recognizing your own authentic self. And in doing that, you need to understand that your own authentic energy has its own authentic ways of doing things. So tuning into what it is that you need out of every situation is always going to feel more connected to yourself. You're always going to feel more alive in yourself. If you can meet yourself in any place you can. Right? Like you could be so sensitive, you're going along just minding your own business and all of a sudden feel these, waves of emotion. And we would beg to ask the question, is it your emotion or is it somebody else's? Do you need to take it on or can you let this one go? A lot of people energetically just assume that if it comes into my energetic field, like you have to remember that you're all of these energetic hubs, even though you don't see them invisibly, you have all of these, central hubs in different parts of your body that create vortexes and circular, whirlpools of energy all around you constantly. So the more you become sensitive to what your own energy field is doing and all of the energy within it, and then be able to determine what's going on out there, then you start to be able to be more discerning when the energies hit you. Well, I feel how I'm very serene right now. If I accept this antagonistic, anxiety-ridden energy, then I'm going to become anxiety-ridden and I'm going to become antagonistic because I'm going to start picking apart everything that this energy seems to want to do on the surface. So you really have to get to the point where you just are very clear but what you can let in and what you can't let out. We do this in subtle ways in a million other settings. But if you can focus it to the part of your energy system that's giving you true information and giving you real-time reality, if you're really tuned into your own energy so beautifully that you can read yourself very well and you're listening to your intuition and you're following your spiritual impulses, it's going to be very easy to determine if something that is foreign suddenly comes across your field. So don't assume that every thought that you're thinking is yours. Don't assume that every feeling that you're feeling is yours. Don't assume that every perception you have is necessarily the only perception to have about that topic. So are you centered self or are you self-centered? And in learning how to work with your own spiritual mechanics, learning how to get the best out of your own energy system and how your energies work generally, if you know you're ultra sensitive, then what are you doing to create energetic boundaries so that your sensitivities can be what they are without getting pushed on all the time? Do you want to be energetically sensitive or do you want to be energetically pummeled, right? Like there's usually, if you're energetically sensitive, like the next step is getting, vampire sucking off of you or other weird things going on. So you have to take some ownership of your own system. So people who tend to default, oh, you take care of it for me, you do it, I don't need you to, it's okay, I don't want to do it, I don't want the responsibility. Like a lot of women get into relationships where they just circumvent their power to a mate, and suddenly they're not making any of their most important decisions, and the information that might be coming in through their system they're ignoring because they've made somebody else a false god in their life and they're not listening to themselves. So I highly recommend that you don't set up protocols that allow you to turn yourself off and put your trust into external people who have a totally different divine plan and a totally different connection to their own source, or lack of connection that might be the problem to begin with. And, get strong in the fact that you came in, like if you even got born onto this earth in your body, you're already a rock star in the spirit world. Okay. So you've already, the mission accomplished. You made it here. Now you've got a body, now you've got a life in front of you. Now you get the choice of making it the best life you want or the worst nightmare you can imagine. And all of those choices come from how willing you are to perceive your own energy around you, do something about what you do perceive, and take control over what you can control in your own right, which is how you feel. You do have some control over how you feel. You can choose to feel negative about something, or you can choose to take the higher road and feel good about your decisions, right? So anybody who's done any amount of therapy, if they've had a good therapist, the therapist has probably asked you to, switch your perceptions so that they're not so, insular and short-sighted. Often perceptions you need to keep bringing yourself, well, how does the other person feel in this situation? How do you think they feel about you? How do instead of you going, oh, they're doing this and I'm doing that and they're doing that and they're all wrong and I don't know and this and that, that's all like too much inner chatter. That's too much work. When you reduce things to energetics, it's very clear. It becomes very simple. It's either a yes energetically because you feel the energetic signature and this is something that resonates and you make a move and you make a choice, or it doesn't and you wait until it does, or you don't take action at all because that's the message you're getting. So trust that your energy system, although it may have been warped over many years because all kinds of other people who don't know what the hell they're talking about have been trying to tell you how to master your energy. But the fact is, you're the one that masters your energy. You're the one that it's running through in an organic fashion. You're the one that should be having conversations with yourself, trying to figure out, what am I doing? Why am I doing it? Do I need to do this? Is this a yes? Is this a no? Do I go? Do I stop? Do I stop? Do I go? Okay, so you can uncomplicate and simplify so much of your emotional reality by asking yourself the question, is this mine really? You could be freaking out and having an emotional response due to somebody who has a very strong opinion about something that you actually don't have a strong opinion about. And suddenly their opinion and their viewpoints are slamming their way through your energy system and forcing you to start to wonder, am I right? Am I wrong? Do I this? Do I that? Well, if all you ever listen to is yourself and your own internal voices, you can probably navigate through any day on earth, even the worst possible, by trusting your own inner guru and trusting your own inner sense of self and your higher self and your own intuitive experience. Because for sure, you've listened to yourself in the past and it's turned out, whether you've actually integrated that into your daily consciousness in a way that makes you say, yes, I'm actually very intuitive and I know how to listen to myself. You might have been doing that blindly too by dumb blind luck, but as long as you're doing it, it doesn't really matter what the outcome is, because the outcome is going to be better than if you've been forcing and conditioning it to be something that it doesn't want to be. So that's another thing too. Like there's energy that's running through your system right now that's suggesting that you do certain things for you, right? That are going to build you or protect you or preserve you in one way or another. So are you listening? Are you willing to listen? Or have you deferred these expertises to other people who really don't know much about what you're meant to do here? In one way or another, we connect to our divine selves, whether we're conscious of it or not. Okay, so your divine self is often pushing you to make decisions. It's that little nagging voice that comes back and back and back, and oh yeah, I need to do this, I need to do that, I need to do this. Is it wrong if you're ignoring it and not taking action right away? Not entirely. First of all, it was good you heard it, right? It's good you know it's there. Sometimes acting on it takes a little more than just a moment. Sometimes you got to gear up for it. So sometimes spirit gives you lots of latitude and you don't have to be quite on track yet, but as long as you're getting the message that you need to pay attention or you need to alter certain behavior of yours, then you're on target. Okay, so don't freak yourself out that, oh, I'm getting these messages, I'm not acting on them, I need to do this, and then you start beating yourself up. No, you're just really meant to take the information and do the best with it that you can. So cut yourself some slack, take a deep breath, ground into your body, knowing that the energies are very strange and they're going to get weirder. So the more you can just sink into yourself, trust yourself a little bit. You've made it this far. You've been able to solve problems for yourself by following your own hunches. You can do that day to day. It is a muscle sometimes that people need to exercise before it gets stronger. Allow it to work through you, because there's lots of stuff that's going to get in your way. There's tons of energy and information from the outside world that will constantly tell you, if you allow it to, that you can't and you won't ever be able to. So just push all that stuff outside of your system. You know, allow it to be what it is. Noise and interference doesn't need to be interfering with you, and just let it wash over you like, you know, something that isn't all that important to pay attention to. And, you know, let yourself be free to make the internal journey to yourself. Because really, at the end of the day, all we ever really miss is ourselves, right? Like lonely people, what are they missing? Do they really have a connection to themselves? Trust me, if you had a deep connection to yourself, you would never need another human being, because you would see all the multifacets of yourself. You would see all the different versions of you, you know, in you that you can be working with. Your inner child, your higher self, your divine God, your inner masculine, your inner feminine. I mean, it's a whole party in there any day of the week. You don't really need a ton of humanity, right? Like, simplify your life in the way that, you know, listen more to yourself, less to the outside world. You know, so much is going on in the outside world to dismantle the parts that aren't authentic, that aren't working, that aren't in true alignment with the good of all, right? Like, we all have our needs, we all have our individual needs, but we also have these collective duties to our fellow mankind to be the best that we can. We're part of a collective that is trying consciously and subconsciously to solve a lot of internal misinformation, right? So it does take some time to unwind the parts that we thought we were doing right. And when we realize, oh, that's something we actually need to self-correct on, then you can take the time, do your deep breathing, allow yourself to go inside, listen to what's going on in your own energy system, and then with that surety, make decisions. But have faith in yourself and just keep on trucking. Okay? It's always great to see you, and thanks for coming in. All right.